Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Suicide Squad, issue number 1. This was genuinely a fun book. This is about as Suicide Squad tropey as it gets, and that's exactly what I've been looking for. I'm kind of enjoying this. First issue, right out the gate, I'm enjoying this. Let's get talking about who made this comic book. We'll talk a little bit about the details of the comic book itself. It is a number 1 after all. Okay, so, written by Tom Taylor, art by Bruno Redondo. Turn the page. We've got colors by Adriano Lucas and letters by Wes Abbott. Cover by Ivan Rice, Joe Prado, and Alex Sinclair, and the variant cover by Francisco Mattina. This issue is called Bad Blood. Okay, so we have got this team. It's an international team of well, basically like, no names, essentially. They get together. They're kind of like revolutionaries. They go around, they do good deeds, they try to help people, and unfortunately sometimes it involves killing people, but I mean, it is what it is. When you talk about here's this giant Australian army. They've got this fleet of these 3 nuclear subs that were sold to them by the United States, and this team goes in to try and stop these guys from their ways. When the general says, no, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing, they decide to drop him to his death. It happens. So, okay, I'm digging it. Suicide Squad is sent in to stop these revolutionaries. See, now I'm enjoying this. Right there, I'm enjoying this, because here are people, revolutionaries, who are doing something good. We hear revolutionary and we right away think of people like Che Guevara. Look at the bad things that they've done, and Sure. Unfortunately, when you listen to the government, who's in the pockets, and this is exactly what's happening here, who's in the pockets of oligarchs, very rich people who have bought the government and has the receipts to show it, and they say, hey man, here's the industrial war machine, all right? Here's the war profiteers. They have gone and spent all the money on getting these subs, these giant nuclear subs, ready to go, and then they've sold them overseas. Think at all the money they spent on the machine themselves, the technology to make them, the contracts themselves, getting these contracts cleared through the U.S. government, bribing the right people in order to get the votes necessary to get the budget allocated from our tax dollars in order to get these subs sold. It takes a lot of work and a lot of money in order to make the billions and billions of dollars that these war profiteers make. And all of that is expressed so beautifully in this book. Amanda Waller doesn't seem to be in charge of Task Force X at this point, Suicide Squad. There's this new guy, Locke, okay? And he's given all the authority that Amanda Waller usually has. I will blow you up. I will blow up your head. I will talk to the stump afterwards. The Suicide Squad's like, dude, it's one thing to get it from Waller, but, because at least we know you, but who's this joker? Saying, who's this chump stain who's saying, you're talking to me like this? They call him an information dump at one point, and it's fitting. So he gives his explanation, and he is unyielding. He's this new guy, and think about this. Here's this new guy who comes into power, and the power he has is the ability to blow your head up if you don't do what he says. Wow. Okay, thoroughly impressed. Right on the cover of this book, by the end of this issue, half of this team will be dead. It's hardly saying it, so you take it kind of tongue-in-cheek. There is not a single laughable moment in this book. Everything, for the most part, in this book is like, oh, damn. You might be a little sadistic and be like, that was a cool death. But make no mistake, there's going to be a lot of deaths. I know what everybody's asking right away. Does a shark eat somebody in this book? You won't be disappointed. That's kind of how you're supposed to start off a suicide book, right? Somebody gets their hand bit off or something. It's got to be something along those lines. It's the one-liners in here, the quick said and done moments that are in here that are dropped in the middle of a large amount of information that we're given. One of my favorite lines in here is, this is a horrible team. This is probably the worst team that's ever been set up. There's like jackasses in here. Magpie, for crying out loud. Think about, when's the last time Magpie was involved in a good storyline? You know what I'm saying? I've got her first appearance. It doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? What do you call it? The last time she was relevant to my recollection was way back in the day, the Arkham Asylum in Hell story by Dan Slott, where she was roommating with Poison Ivy. I mean, geez, there's literally nothing there, And Yeah, you know that you know this is a big deal. So, man, when they say half the people on the team will be dead, it might not have been a full half, but yeah, a lot of people died in this. In some regards, you got to keep on throwing cannon fodder into the mix so you can have some deaths. I don't know if every single issue of this comic book is going to have somebody die in it, like the original concept for the book, but I will say that so far it's off to a great start. Look, Tom Taylor's in DC right now. He's getting ready to stir some pots and mix it up and just give us some incredible scenes. And right away in this book, it gives you pretty much everything that you need to put this into your pull list. This is a sick book with a whole bunch of great moments in here. I am looking forward to this new team that has already been formed in this book. I'm shocked at how on the nose this book is as far as government agencies doing what their rich donors tell them to do. And man, I am thoroughly impressed by how political this book has been made without it seeming quite so political. You've got to just look into the fine details, and there's no denying it. Fantastic book. I am genuinely looking forward to more of this Suicide Squad. So far, no disrespect to any no name dropping, but better than most of the Suicide Squad runs that I've seen just in this issue alone. And it's Tom Taylor. It's Bruno Renardo. I'm pretty sure we're just going to continue with this excellence. So I'm all on board. Are you? Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.